Stop to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hey there, it's Ramey Miller, personal and business coach, and also owner of Renovated Coaching, and a Taylorville native now living in the Northern Illinois area. I have the pleasure of helping people strengthen their relationship with themselves and others virtually, no matter where they are. Seeing what's possible for people is the highlight of my job. For example, I support people through job transitions, relationship changes, and developing new habits. Recently, I hosted a workshop and people walked away with hope, courage, feeling worthy and seen. I would love to connect with you. Feel free to reach out for a virtual complimentary 60-minute conversation to see if it's a good fit to work together one-on-one, or we can just simply discuss any upcoming events. My website is www.rendeepcoaching.com. That's www.rendeepcoaching.com. I am sending you so much support.
DeWitt County, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock here on this Friday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. We stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. DeWitt County is looking into appointing a veterinarian to assist animal control. Thursday night at the DeWitt County Public Safety Committee meeting, Animal Control Administrator Tony Harris voiced the need for a county-appointed vet. This is not only due to the state's requirement to have this position, but also because of a DeWitt County resident with sick animals in their home. Sheriff Mike Walker shared in that concern.
This came into question on a case that is currently being investigated where I believe the state requires us, because I'm not a veterinarian, that we have to have a contracted veterinarian on staff or contracted.
This came up because the case we're working on this, my fear when I talked to Tony, it was a mess with sick cats and almost 100 cats and everything, and I was afraid that without having something binding with this vet, then we call her and tell her what this is going on, she can say, nope, don't want to do it, I'm not officially your vet or anything, and then we'd be stuck.
Committee Chair Megan Myers recalled the previous county vet, who has since retired, was doing it at no charge. 2 other vets have declined the offer. No contract has been officially formed yet, but Harris says he would be able to have one ready by next month's meeting.
At the time, Mariella had stepped down from being the county veterinarian. Is that correct, Dee? She, I think, retired. Dr. Baker was performing some of the services out there, but did not want a contract. And then we also had Dr. Flutie come on board with Timbercrest, and at that time they did not have a need, so they didn't have a need for a contract, and so we never really pursued it.
So what I can do is I'll spend the next few weeks checking into this and talking to Dr. Flutie. I'll even reach out to the Illinois Department of Ag, regulates animal control, and see what they suggest contract-wise, and then hopefully I can get something to the state's attorney and then bring something back in the next meeting.
Harris gave kudos to Sheriff Walker for his assistance in the investigation of the sick animals. It was also noted the individual responsible could be facing animal abuse charges. Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton recently completed what had become a multi-year process to renovate its emergency room, and the early returns are incredibly positive. That's according to Paul Scourin, CEO of Warner Hospital and Health Services, who indicates traffic is up in the emergency room since its completion.
Yes, we noticed in the spring, in March and April, that volume was starting to increase. But in May and June, all the promotion that you've helped us with the expanded ER, has really paid off, because we're seeing returns on investment on this $1.2 million investment a lot earlier than we thought. So, compared to last year, every month is at least 27% more volume than last year at the same time. And we didn't expect it to start increasing that soon. But the word has gotten out that if you need to go to the ER, our waiting area is twice as big as it was. It is more efficient. You can now talk directly to the ER staff, immediate communication, and see what's going on. And then, of course, behind the wall, The ER itself is twice as big with more exam rooms and better technology, fully staffed now. And so the word has gotten out, not just with the public, but with the ambulance service, so they know they don't need to redirect patients to Decatur or Bloomington or Champaign anymore. They can bring it to Warner Hospital. We're seeing the benefit of all that.
According to Skowron, the services provided at the hospital are so much more efficient, and while wait times have not ever been very long, he notes it still provides a better experience for that person coming to them for care.
It does, because of the logistics within the ER. Instead of everybody being jammed into a small room where they couldn't see what was going on in all the different exam rooms, now there's a large nurse station that has a 180-degree view of everything going on in the ER. Of course, there's cameras, but it's best with just a straight line of sight to be able to see what's going on, anticipate what's coming in, see the patients coming in, see the ambulance coming in. Setup is easier. Rolling out wheelchairs to the public as they're entering. What we don't have is the long wait times that you have at the big hospital. And this is just making it even more efficient to get to service right away. You know, we never really did have very long wait times compared to larger hospitals, but now when you have to have an interaction with the ER, it becomes clear that someone's communicating with you right away, and that there are, the wait times are sometimes almost non-existent, but they're very short compared to other hospitals. So they'll experience that right away. And from the waiting area, you can see what's going on, in the ER, and you can see that there's motion rather than is there anybody there behind that big wall? So there's a sort of an interaction that the patients have with the ER, a fluidity that they didn't have before.
The city-owned entity had to bring in new emergency room doctors. Skowron says it also is much easier to recruit staff because of all the changes. Find the Warner Hospital on Facebook to get a glimpse of all the changes inside the emergency room. A local nonprofit has a program for seniors to mentor students. Alicia Mitchell with Community Action explains the foster grandparents program gives an opportunity for anyone 55 years or older to assist students in an educational or emotional role. Mitchell recently returned from Maryland for the AmeriCorps Senior Convention, giving the gatherers an opportunity to explore partnerships with other agencies and new avenues to meet the needs of seniors and youth that they serve. Mitchell says 97% of students in the program last year showed improvement. However, it wasn't just students benefiting from the mentorship. It gave seniors a sense of purpose and guiding young people.
My focus right now is currently our DeWitt County locations. I'm trying to get some grandparents in our Head Start locations. I actually just did a progress report, and 97% of our students that were in our Head Start locations last year had improvement based off of the criteria of our program. So that to me just speaks volumes on the information that we provide and other Head Starts in our area provide as well. So I'll say it's kind of dual. The child has that person to kind of look up to and help and guide in a different perspective from a different generation. And they also have, the grandparent has that youth that's there, that's giving them a sense of purpose, that's helping them, stay active, have a reason to go do something every day and be involved.
If you'd like to volunteer for the program, visit capsule.info or reach out to Mitchell at 217-732-2159. There is a minimum of a 20-hour time commitment. However, Community Action offers a stipend and mileage reimbursement. A Central Illinois lawmaker is making the stops all over her district during the downtime in Springfield. On the WHOW Morning Show Thursday, State Senator Sally Turner indicated she would be at the DeWitt County Triad meeting in Farmers City and Clinton City Hall the final week of August.
Clinton is August 27th to 12:30 to 2 is Clinton. But also, I wanted to mention DeWitt County's Triad Senior Academy. I'm sure most of your listeners are aware of that. That's on Wednesday the 28th. That's at Farmers City, at the Farmers City Outreach Center. That's a really good resource. It's from 9 to 11. And one of the things, there'll be some state agencies there that can help people navigate the system too. My staff will be there as well. Dana Smith, the former county clerk in DeWitt County, She's a big part of that triad. She's also works for me doing traveling office hours. That's a really good thing to go to.
Yeah.
And then after that, on the 30th, we have a senior fair in Lincoln at the Lincoln Rec. Same idea, but we're going to have a few people from the Attorney General's office speak about protections for seniors, scams on the phone, mail scams, things of that nature, things to watch. The triad meeting is the 28th from 9 to 11 at Farmer City Outreach Center.
Senator Turner encourages following her legislative Facebook page for more. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. Sports is next.
Rehab, recover, and return home. When you or your loved one use the Bounce Back program at Liberty Village of Clinton. When you're not ready for a nursing home, their Bounce Back program is the answer. Click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
Healthy children make better students and stronger athletes. Be their advocate. Schedule their back-to-school physicals today at SIU Center for Family Medicine. Call 217-735-2317 now or click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Last year, Argenta-Oreana let a couple of opportunities slip away and just missed out on a playoff appearance. This fall, the Bombers are determined to not miss those opportunities as they look to turn the corner this football season. Coach Clay Harburg says he is noticing something different about his team this year.
Really, we were just learning to win again. You know, we broke a 22-game losing streak when we beat Arcola. And we lost at Villa Grove, I think it was 2 weeks later, by 1 point. Had we won that game, we would have been in the playoffs. And then we went into week 9 against Cumberland, a pretty good team. And we needed that one to get in at 5-4, and we weren't able to beat them. So, yeah, there's a little bit of hunger, I think, still on the guys that are back this year to put themselves over the top, so to speak, and get to the playoffs like we tried to last year. We really felt it was a heartbreaking year last year. Let me put it that way. We missed the playoffs 5 points. We lost the regional basketball final on the last second shot. So I think our sports teams, for the boys at least, are going to be really anxious to try to, take the next step this year. It still wasn't where we'd like it to be. Honestly, we're never going to be satisfied. But this year we had improved numbers again, a lot more participation in our off-season stuff. So we're looking forward to the kids having an opportunity to maybe take the next step forward, be a little more competitive with some of the better teams in our league and maybe knock some of them off, and hopefully we can push through enough victories to be in the playoffs before the last week of the season. The football IQ has jumped up tremendously. I think one of the things that kind of hurt us the last couple of years was just our understanding of the game and the little things in the game that if you don't sit down and watch it on TV or in person, you miss if you're only watching highlights. And we talk to our kids about that watching Sports Center highlights or video highlights on YouTube or whatever, Instagram or something like that. You can't get a full feel for how this game works doing that. And I think they took that to heart the last 2 years, and that's why we're seeing the uptick in our ability. Because we felt like for the last couple of years that we had talent, but we didn't think our kids paid attention to the game enough and learned how to play it as well. So I think that's the big part. And this summer, we could see a massive increase in our understanding of the game. Our kids are asking questions while they're participating that makes sense because they're using football terms more. You can just tell by what they're talking about that they're talking football more. So I think what's happened is it's ingrained in them that you have to make football a part of your life a little deeper than just showing up on the first day of practice.
This year's seniors were thrust into a difficult situation coming out of COVID when Argenta-Oreana made the commitment to bring football back. As freshmen, many of this year's seniors were playing varsity minutes, but Coach Harburg believes it was those experiences that have made this group better.
I feel real good about my senior class because most of those kids were here when I was helping out with the previous coach, and they were like 3 or 4 of them were starting varsity freshmen. So that was the year where it was just kind of really rough because we were so young. That group has made this a priority in their lives, and they've tried to pass that on to the younger guys. And we bring back a lot of experience with football, is the thing. We lost 4 seniors last year that were really good players, but that means there's 7 other guys that were out there most of the time for sure that played a ton, and we've got some other guys that played a backup role that got a lot of experience. So I think that's going to be a big thing for us, is just that, and we have depth this year. We have, I think it was 44 players out this year, and when I was first involved with the program, I think we ended the year with 21 or 22 kids. So we've kind of doubled our numbers in the last 3 years, and that's, in football, numbers can make a huge difference, especially in 1A. So I think those are 2 of the factors. Our experience and our depth should be helpful for us going forward. Well, up front in our line, we've got 2 senior captains that I think are going to be a huge asset. Gavin Elder plays center for us, and then MJ Hall, who's a 4-year varsity player, is our left tackle, and he was all-conference second team last year. He missed first team by 1 vote. So we're looking for those 2 to kind of anchor the line. In the backfield, we've got a new quarterback, Carter Logue. We feel like he can hurt people with his legs and his arm a little bit, so we think he can be an exciting and helpful player to get our run game up to snuff, because that's kind of been one of our weaker parts of our game, we felt, last 2 years. And then Wyatt Kendall is a tailback for us that I think he's going to give us some power running that we need. Got some skill guys. Tice Norris was a very good defensive and now offensive player last year. He'll be playing in the slot position. We can get him the ball in a lot of ways, and I think he can be very dangerous with the ball. And on defense, he was our leading tackler last year, so we're looking for big things on that side of the ball from him. And then there's just a whole lot of other guys. I mean, I could sit here for an hour and talk to you about the guys. But those are some of the guys that we're looking to kind of step up and lead. Damian Good would be another kid that we think will be very helpful on both sides of the ball as well.
The Bombers have revamped their offense. Coach Harburg indicates they're focused on controlling the ball through the run game. He believes the fact his kids are bigger, faster, and stronger should help improve that this fall.
Well, we changed our offense this year. We're gonna do a little bit more out of shotgun than we have in the past. We were under center quite a bit, and then we went to a little bit more of a pistol look. But this year we're gonna go back to shotgun. You'll probably see a lot of running game this year. We're really gonna focus on that. We thought that one of the things that hurt us last year was that when we wanted to sustain a drive, we didn't run the ball well enough to do so. So that's been a big focus for us over the offseason, is working on the run game. And we're hoping that's going to be the factor that might push us over the top of the playoffs as well. I mean, our strength up front is going to be a lot better. We're a lot bigger up front than we have in the last 2 seasons. We've got some good-sized sophomores that are going to come in and play some starting and backup roles on the varsity line that we think can be helpful. We got a junior, Cam Jenkins, who's a big athletic kid that plays guard for us, that we think he's going to be real solid as well. So we're looking for a lot of improvement up front, because that's where the run game begins.
The Bombers, Coach Harburg called coaching this group a blast, and says it is fun to see the football IQ grow as much as it has. Argenta-Oreana will open the season at Arthur Levington Atwood Hammond on Friday, August 30th. Austin Dillon of Richard Childress Racing brought drama and controversy to an otherwise uneventful Richmond race by spinning Joey Logano and sending Denny Hamlin into the wall at the end to win in overtime and clinch a playoff berth. Last week's finish was the talk of the racing world all week, and now the top circuit heads to Michigan. 2 races remain in NASCAR's regular season after Michigan with Daytona and Darlington next. Toyota claimed 4 of the top 6 spots at Richmond, with Dillon and Ross Chastain 5th taking the other spots in Chevrolets. NASCAR announced this week that Dillon would retain the victory at Richmond. However, his spot in the playoffs was revoked after spinning Logano and turning Hamlin in the final corner for the win. NASCAR's playoff format states a win guarantees a driver in a spot in its 16-driver format. Ford has won the past 10 starts at Michigan, including season sweeps from 2018 to 2020, when the track held 2 races annually. Rochester Hills, Michigan native Brad Keselowski seeks his first career Cup win at his home state track after 8 top 5s and 14 top 10s in 26 starts. He won in 2009, 2010 in the Xfinity Series in a Chevy and Dodge, respectively. Kyle Larson finished 7th at Richmond and leads Tyler Reddick by just 5 points in the standings, with Chase Elliott 6 back in 3rd. Hamlin, with 3 victories, finished 2nd at Richmond and stands 21 points back in 4th, with Logano 15th after his 19th place finish. Chris Buescher won the second of 3 consecutive starts before the playoffs, leading the final 12 laps of 52 overall and started 4th for the victory. Martin Truex Jr. led 47 laps and finished 2nd, with Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Hamlin 3rd, followed by Keselowski, then Larson. Practice and qualifying is 11:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Race time is 1:30 Sunday afternoon. The Xfinity Series returns this weekend, racing at Michigan. Riley Herbst made a daring last lap pass of Eric Almirola, earning his first victory at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, giving Stewart Haas Racing its second consecutive win back on July the 20th. Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas have won the last 2 Michigan races. Reigning series champ Cole Custer holds the points lead by 55 over Riverton native Justin Allgaier. There are 6 races left in the Xfinity Series regular season. After Michigan comes Daytona, Darlington, Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol. The 12-driver playoff starts at Kansas on September 28th. John Hunter Nemechek led twice for 65 laps in a Toyota after starting 10th to earn his 5th of 7 victories last season. His laps led total included the final 23 of a dominant race. He won by nearly a second and a half over Josh Berry in a Chevrolet. Xfinity practice and qualifying is at 2:30 this afternoon. Race time is 2:30 on Saturday. The Craftsman Truck Series races next weekend at the Milwaukee Mile for the start of its 10-driver playoff. Ty Majeski earned his second consecutive victory in the regular season finale at Richmond last weekend and aims to maintain that momentum when the series resumes with the start of the 7-race playoffs at Milwaukee on Sunday. Majeski seized the lead on the final restart with 8 laps left and held off series points leader Ross Chastain and Christian Eckes. Majeski and defending series champ Ben Rhodes are the only 4 drivers in the 10-driver playoff. Eckes claimed the regular season championship, though Corey Heim enters with a 3-point lead by virtue of his 5 victories this season. Get the latest in local sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. On a visit to North Carolina today, Vice President Harris will unveil her economic program. It's said to include price controls